because Kiko was bringing this up anyway earlier, right? The Spider-Man, and Josh I know can speak to this a lot too. It was actually the Advanced Suit Spider-Man that is from the new PS5 game that was exclusive. Hot Toys, I think announced 3,000 of these. Sideshow had, I think, 2,000. Is that right, Key? Or 1,000? They had 1,000, right?
I think there was 500 of Miles,
Right.
1,000 of
1,000
Spider-Man.
Peter. Right. And you got this, Kiko, because I logged on just trying to see what the experience was like. I was not going to buy it, but I tried to add it to my cart and it said someone has this in their cart. And like 2 minutes later, it was waitlisted.
Yep.
But I logged on pretty late. So, Kiko, you said the experience was actually pretty simple if you logged on at the time you wanted it. So the experience was good. But do you think this is good for the industry of collecting and for Hot Toys and collectors as a whole?
I think it really does narrow down how serious you are about collecting. Now, I'm going to sound extremely gatekeepery and very elitish, but I take it serious. If there's a figure or there's something I really want, I go after that and I find ways to make it happen. I don't have a lot of sympathy for people that say they're huge fans of something, but don't take the initiative to go and get it. I pride myself on being a hustler, on working hard, and that's just who I am as, just professionally as well. Work hard, play hard, that type of thing, and reap the rewards of doing so. It's the same thing applies to collecting, is if you really want something, you figure out the ways to do it. There were no obstacles if you were serious about these figures in order to get them. Same thing with of all of the Q figures that we've done these two. We have done they've done the Batman, they've done the Wonder Woman from DC 100, they've done the D100 Iron Man, and they've done Stealth Suit Cap. Those are the only ones I believe that have had numbers attached to them as far as exclusivity and just on those 1 days for wait lists. Of those, I've gotten all the ones I wanted. And the only issue I had was because I messed up on the Wonder Woman one and forgot to click the terms of service. That was on me. But if I would have had it, I would have had it. So no problem there. That's fine. This is good because it forces people to be serious, to be selective, because if you don't, but it also pushes people, as we talked about, it pushes people to say, I want something that someone else doesn't have. And it pushes people to make it sell out to where, as Josh was saying, once the next thing comes, it's like a ripple effect. Oh, I got to make sure I get the next thing. And it just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning, because you don't want to be the person that's missed 15 pre-orders because you weren't quick enough or you weren't serious about it. You look how far behind you are now, because everyone always likes to play catch up, blah, 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 blah. I think it's good because we have really gotten to that place where, as you said, Captain Marvel selling for free on Sideshow and $150 on buy, sell, trade. That's got to end. I understand people do not get these things for investments. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard of. But if you do have any desire that you want to maintain value or anything like that, this is a way to make that go back up, because if there is demand, that's what makes price go up. If there's no demand for anything, then it just sits there. And so I think this is good for the industry. So what's the problem? And I got what I wanted. You could have gotten it too. So that's my thing.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kiko. And I do think that at the end of the day, there is, I don't know. I mean, I do think, because there's any number of reasons maybe you couldn't have been online. Maybe you were at work, or maybe you had a family issue, or you had a concern or whatever. But I do think that collectors, generally speaking, do find a way. And I do think there is maybe a bit of entitlement from time to time. And that, I think, has led maybe to maybe an overestimation of what the demand actually is based on social media reactions and posts and whatever. Because a lot of people will be like, yeah, I'll get this. And then it drops and they'll say, yeah, I'm going to wait for the next version, or I'll wait, whatever. And finances change, budget changes. I get that. But I think this ultimately is going to be healthy for the industry. If this, for example, like we talked about, if this were Hot Toys Joel and Ellie and it were limited edition, I would have been up super. I would have been waiting there an hour before, right? Like I would have done whatever I had to get it. The Spider-Man I don't really care as much about, but if I did, I would have been there early and got it. But Josh, as someone who works as a retailer, owns a business, has dealt with this dead stock shit that's been going on for a couple of years, what do you think about these exclusive sort of figures that we're seeing from Hot Toys? Is this good for the industry, for the health of the industry?
So it's kind of biased because I'm a retailer and I didn't get stock of these, but right. I want to say that first. But as a collector, I don't think it's that good for the industry at all. I mean, I look in it. I'm not let me also say that I'm not shitting on the advanced suit. I love the advanced suit figure, but I don't feel there's enough difference. And I almost compare it to Prime One's color variants when they released the same figure you just had. And they're like, oh, color variant. And it's just like, well, fuck. That just killed what I had And now there's going to be more in just a slightly different color. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe, collecting is subjective. Like, my opinion is not law. Like, it is not a fact. It's an opinion. But in general, the way I look at this, with my experience on people, how they're making their purchases and just retail consumer behavior in general, I feel that releasing this took away a pre-order from something else that could have happened. And on top of that, all of these are supposed to be limited to begin with. So the mindset of that there's a limited exclusive is just like, well, what the fuck is everything else then? It's just like when you put in exclusive, it just means the distributors are going to have it. It doesn't necessarily mean there aren't a lot. Just because they put 3,000 units on this, you have no goddamn idea what they made of any other figure. Like the lizard diorama base, what if there's only 500?
Right.
That would have sold out if you said it was only 500. It's sold out now anyways.
That's true.
But I feel like it's almost taking advantage of collectors, because I look at this and you take a figures that are normally do not have an edition number and you just say that there's only 3,000 units. 3,000 is a lot of goddamn units for a figure that's already been released. And I'm not shitting on anyone, but I look at this and it's like, you just took away from collectors who are saying they're mostly strapped for cash, because just because not every collector can afford every figure. Collectors come in all like sources of income, right? Like there are people working at Walmart, working paycheck to paycheck to make their stuff. And then you have the Playboy billionaire who's like, I also want the figure, right? So when I see something like this, I feel it's just kind of a cash grab and taking advantage of the collector mentality, because all the other figures are also selling out after 2 weeks without the hype. So without the hype, there's probably the same amount selling and people don't even realize that their figure they didn't pre-order is limited.
Right.
Well, I will disagree with you a little bit, because I do appreciate you sharing that side as kind of like a retail side of things. And you make a great point about the people that it forces you to be selective. And if you are not have a lot of open cash to be able to do things with, you probably are being like, oh, what do I want to put, my efforts and energies into? But on the flip side of that, I've said it multiple times that I'm a proponent of, I am so tired of seeing everybody with the same shit. Everybody, like when you go into like look at my collection room, they are all fucking identical. And it was so silly to me when all the clones started coming out with Rex and Cody and all that. Everyone's like, look at my Rex. Everybody look.
Everyone fucking has one.
Everybody. And even when this officially went for pre-order and people got it, you go to Reddit, it's like there's that meme of that guy looking at the tornado, here it comes, what I'm talking about. But it was like this screen saying your order is confirmed. It's like, here they come, because everyone's like, I got it. But the exclusivity breeds the opportunity for it. Let's say this, we're going to use the Joel and Ellie thing. Let's say that this was a 6-scale Joel from wherever Will wants it, and he was not able to get it. He struck out in the queue. I know that he wants it enough to where that has become now a chase figure. Now, I understand people's budgets and things, but if there is a chase figure for you, like for me, I told you that the Ecto 1 was my chase piece, that I understood it was going to be costly. I understand it wasn't readily available, but you don't see a lot of Ecto 1s floating around because there's not a lot of them. So I was okay with that being a chase piece for saying, you know what? Yeah, I could have got this at retail, but damn it, I am so happy when I finally do get this. So create that within the community, because I don't want to see the cookie cutter collections. So I'm okay with that from that side.
Well, because I think you guys both make really good points, because I think Josh's issue is, it sounds like, is more the fact that they released the same Spider-Man made it exclusive. So, but it is different enough, to be fair. I mean, at least I think
the Waldos,
because I think, I mean, it is the same suit technically, but I think the material is different.
The color is different. It's a darker shade of red. Right, exactly.
And it is technically from a new game, so they can sort of say, oh, it's from Spider-Man 2 instead of Spider-Man 1. It's not a reissue. It's like it's a 2.0. But but I do think the one thing I will say, and I think you guys can both attest to this, what I think this is doing is getting the't actually excited and engaged about something. And I think that's I think the goal. And also I think you would know, Josh, like with all the dead stock and shit, Sideshow and Hot Toys are probably like, let's get people to fucking FOMO. Like we got to get people to feel like they can. This needs to feel more limited, because otherwise people are not going to pre-order on the level we want them to, not going to buy shit. And we need to, I feel like so much oversaturation has got to devalue Hot Toys brand, because basically they're viewed as like Funko Pops, right? And that's not what I think the look they're going for. So I feel like this was inevitability. And I think this is going to keep happening. I think they're going to keep doing this with other figures. Don't you guys think so?
Well, but my biggest issue is not necessarily even that it was an exclusive. It's that you called it an exclusive and you slapped a number on, but you have no idea how rare your current pre-orders are that are waitlisted. You'll never know because you didn't call it an exclusive. So when I see like 3,000 units, I'm just like, well, you're going to receive it and you won't even know if it was actually 3,000 units. These aren't numbered. They're just stating that there's 3,000 units. So it's not necessarily that it's not awesome that there's an exclusive item, and it's not awesome that we're getting collectors hype and you don't want cookie cutter, but you don't actually know how exclusive this actually is, because your other figures from the people that aren't ordering in the time frames, it might be even more exclusive and you won't even know.
Right.
And I just don't like when and of course it's business, but I don't like when the collector mentality is played for a fool almost. You know what I mean? I don't like people getting taken advantage of.
But we're never going to get that veil pulled back.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, because I don't think Hot Toys is going to start numbering everything. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to say like, oh, 10,000 Darth Vaders or whatever, right? I don't know that they're ever going to. I wish they would. I wish they would be more like the statue companies, but I guess it's just not part of their business model.
But is 3,000 limited? Or is it just hype to put a number there?
I think it just depends on the figure. For this one, I wouldn't say it probably feels limited, but I don't know, because it's so hard to gauge what the production is for certain figures.
1,000 within, let's just say, Sideshow US North America country, 1,000 is fairly limited, I feel,
for a Spider-Man,
for a Spider-Man type figure.
Yeah, like for Wenwu was 300 worldwide. That's pretty limited. Yeah.
It's 300 worldwide?
For Wenwu, yeah. For Wenwu.
Oh, that feels way more limited.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. This is 3,000 worldwide. So
of a recolor.
Yeah, it is. It is Spider-Man.
I'm not shitting on it. I'm not shitting on it. It's just, what does the term exclusive do to people when they hear exclusive? That's all.
It gets them to
trying to like pull at.
Yeah. But it is, but I get what you're saying, but it is at the end of the day a result. I do think it got people excited. And I think, I do think Hot Toys, not every figure I want to be that you have to log on that second to pre-order. But like you said, Josh, a pre-order window, I think that could do wonders for this collecting game. Because I mean, I can just tell you, it feels, eventually you will get to the point, I feel like, where yes, these figures are great, but it feels so much more fun when you do have to chase things every so often. Like, it's just
great.
It's just like this. I give the example, this Ellie print I got from Cook and Becker. Like, I had to go search.
They didn't contact me. I missed it.
Dude, I had to go searching for that thing. I had to go search.
I signed up. I emailed them. I'm like, I'm ready. Like, let's go. And they're like, all right, it released on Facebook. What?
Oh, dude. Are you talking about the Amano one?
The signed one. Yeah.
Dude, Last of Us signed I got one. I got a hand signed one.
Of course you did.
Dude,
because it meant everything to him. So
25 worldwide. Exactly, Kiko. I was there. 25 worldwide. I was there right second. Yep. So I got one. Dude, it was expensive though. It was expensive.
Becker's wonderful. That's how I got my Persona 5 piece signed by the character designer. They were sold out, and I wrote them. I'm like, please, like, I gotta find this. Do you have any? And they're like, well, we have one by the character designer he was supposed to take on tour, but COVID happened. And I was like, holy shit.
Like, let me buy it. I will pay you anything. Yeah.
I was like, I'll give you anything. Do you take livers? Do you take kidneys?
Dude, Josh, I want to ask you this. So you mentioned the 2 weeks thing, because I feel like on Sideshow, I haven't noticed that to be a reality. Maybe on Comic Concepts or other places. But what about Sideshow? I mean, do you think they're going to start waitlisting after a month or something?
So they're ordering X amount because, like 2 weeks it feels like a long time, but like when you think about collectors, like in the real world, some people are overseas on business. Some people aren't access to their emails or computers right now. Like you get orders all the time. Like I had someone write me the other day for the Prime One Denji from Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
And they're like, I had no idea this existed. It's like, well, it's been out for a year and like people are still learning every day. It's not that the deadline isn't there for 2 weeks. It's that they finalize their numbers in 2 weeks. So then there's probably a grace period for those that like missed out or like didn't even know it existed.
Okay.
But like for sure, I can guarantee you there is an extremely limited window for anybody to place their orders with Hot Toys. So if there are extras, it's because they planned for slightly extras for whatever time it takes.
Right. Because you even saw that with Moon Knight. I mean, Moon Knight hit Sideshow in stock for like 3 or 4 days, and now it's waitlisted.
It was waitlisted already. So,
so
again, we're in this because remember, Moon Knight came out, what, a year and a half ago for pre-order?
Yeah.
We are having mass cancellations of anything, even sold out pieces. People are just not paying for their shit. So even if you take a deposit, you're just getting annihilated with that upfront cost.
Right.
So like, that's probably what happened with Moon Knight. Dude, Ahsoka is sold out at Sideshow, and I'm sitting on a ton of deluxe.
Right.
And I was sold out during the whole pre-order window. I was sold out. And then everyone canceled. And it's still waitlisted at Sideshow. So, you know, the demand is really funky right now.
Yep. But I think it gets it higher when you say, oh, there's only 1,000 of them in the United States.
The second you throw the term exclusive and a number, they're like, oh.
It's like, I will buy it.
It still may actually be very limited. I don't want to be pessimistic. I'm not shitting on anyone that went for it. But I think it's important to think about like 3,000 units. Well, how many Morbius do you think sold?
Right. Like
I got my pre-order in. I do know.
Right.
Did you keep
because you think
of course I did.
Awesome. And it did look awesome. But how many people do you think thought the same way?
Not many. 40, 50 people.
50 people, right?
Yeah. There's probably 75 Morbiuses in existence. Yeah.
Man, I thought Mysterio's Iron Man illusion was the coolest Iron Man variant art figure I'd ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the worst selling pieces we've ever had. And I still think it's one of the coolest fucking figures. I own one. I don't even collect Hot Toys, and I own one. I think it looks so cool.
But have you seen that Venomized Iron Man? That's the real one.
Oh,
which one?
Venomized Iron Man.
Oh, I think they're amazing. Well,
that's super cool.
Crab claw. I mean,
that's super cool.
He does have a crab claw.
That was the only thing that bothered me. But from an art standpoint, I thought it was sick.
Yeah.
And people just are sleeping on them.
Yeah.
I got mine.
I think it's going to be like the dark side of Anakin. The second it sells out when no one wanted it, it's going to be worth like $600.
Because it's artist inspired at that point. You know?
Yeah, the art, or if the artist dies, yeah.
Could be that. Well, guys, thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. I mean, I'm excited to see this Spider-Man figure and what it turns into for people, but we'll see. Hopefully you got one if you wanted one. That said, guys, we're going to move on to our next topic.